Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today, Thursday, April 3rd, a huge night in college and professional sports. Yesterday, to break some of that down, we are joined by Rick Blaze. Good morning, Rick. How are you on a Thursday morning?
Hey, it's a fantastic Thursday morning. It's just a fantastic month. April is such a beautiful month. Maybe because it's also my birthday month. But nevertheless, it's still a beautiful month. Let's get to it.
Well, happy birthday ahead of whenever that day officially is.
420. 420. 420.
Fitting. We have plenty to get to. The Pac 12 continues to look interesting. UNC suffers a stunning home loss, but we're starting in the association where the SWBA is investigating a gesture made by the Grizzlies' John Morant during the game, during their loss to the Golden State Warriors, in which he appeared to be mimicking shooting a gun multiple times towards the Golden State Warriors bench in that game on Tuesday night. Of course, this comes after Morant had a handful of challenges with firearms 2 seasons ago. So, Rick, I'm curious, your impression of this is this looking into something that's simply too much, or is maybe this is there more to it?
Um, you remember when I think everybody remembers when they were in school, grade school, elementary, middle school, what have you. And the teacher would just have all the students to walk in a straight quiet line from point A to point B. And if you did it correctly, you would go to recess, right? And there was always this one student who could just never be quiet. He always had to do something, find something to do, find something to say, stop. And he would stop all the students from having fun at recess. And then finally one day, and then the teacher would just get all the students in trouble because of that one student. And then finally one day, the students and the teachers realized, I think this student might be spared. So they realize he's just a sped kid. So they no longer penalize him for doing silly things. They just keep it going, and because they realize he's just a sped kid. I think that's what we're dealing with here with John Morant. We have to realize here that these people become adults. When you're a kid, when you're in school, you get labeled. If you have an issue or something's not quite right, you get labeled. And all the students get to know your label, all the teachers get to know your label, and they get to treat you accordingly because they are aware of your label. The problem is we become adults and we get out into society and no one has a damn label. So I don't know if I'm talking to a sped person or not anymore. This is the problem. We got to excuse John because I just think he's sped. It is what it is. Your inability to just get it right, keep it right, to just do regular things and make common sense decisions, he has to just be sped. So now we know he's sped, we just give him a pass on some of the ignorant stuff that he does.
Well, I'm not,
He's
I'm not,
sped Morant.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with going that far. What I will say is
You can't deny that it might be the truth though.
what I would say is that it's an individual that clearly does not understand his
Sped.
influence, and it's an individual that does not understand the impression that he gives. Now, look, this gesture that he made is an exceptionally common one in today's society for various reasons that I don't feel like getting into on this show. But I mean, anybody and everybody is using this gesture. I mean, I saw
But
a
not the person who was just in trouble for guns.
which
I
so
don't understand.
and that's just
Scared.
it, Rick, and that's just it. Yes, and I'm not condoning its use by anybody. But this is just continuation of an individual that clearly does not understand the the circumstances that surround them. And does this result in a suspension? I don't know. I mean, this feels like something that if you're the SWBA, you say, did you, which we know the answer clearly is no, but did you not learn anything from what you did before? I mean, the other two instances, much worse than this one, we should make very clear. But this is something that, to me, is just absolutely, I don't want to use too large of a word, but disappointing. Because this, clearly you do not understand, Ja, that this is bigger than you, that you have put the spotlight on you. And he tweeted, "Ja this, ja that," on Twitter, X, formerly Twitter, whatever. Well, it's ja this, ja that because you've done this to yourself. And to me, was the 25-game suspension too long before? I don't know. I think it was an example making moment, but I think the league has to see this and say, what else do we have to get through to you that this is not an acceptable thing to be mimicking or to be actually displaying on the basketball court? I would not be surprised if he gets a suspension of multiple games, which of course the Grizzlies could not well afford. They're 0-3 since firing their head coach, so hey, maybe it wasn't the head coach's fault that you guys couldn't beat teams above 500, as they have struggled to do that, and now they're going to go to Miami on Thursday and play a team that's winners of 6 in a row. So it is disappointing that somebody cannot learn from this, and I do wonder how far the league takes this with a sense of, we don't know what'll get through to you, that these idiotic gestures or actions are not acceptable.
Yeah, he can't learn because he's sped. You said all that to say what I'm coming back to. He's sped.
And again, I'm not sure I'm comfortable describing an individual as such, but
But you can't completely.
what I would say is Embiid, I'm looking at, he had sneak surgery. Morant
He's
clearly is
sped
not
too.
learning from the situations in which he is sitting in. All right, let's move on to
He
college
has a he
basketball.
has a learning problem.
Let's move to college basketball, where Virginia picks up a second straight massive win, this time on the road in North Carolina against the Tar Heels, 61-55. Sire Matthews, 17, 6, 5, and 3 assists as he stacked up the box score, and a double-double from Johnny Ball Game Baldwin. A huge win for Virginia as they try to earn themselves a trip to Hoop Stereo. That's 4 straight wins for Virginia, who's now 5-5, but maybe more importantly, another disappointing loss for the North Carolina Tar Heels, who have been completely unable to maintain a consistent mark throughout this season.
Yeah, I mean, let me start off first by giving some credit to Virginia, who's had a not so great year, but who's been storming as of late, 4 games straight, including 2 big wins versus 2 college blue blood schools. So we cannot dismiss that. That's a huge accomplishment for Virginia, considering the season that they had. Kudos to them for that. My thing is for North Carolina, they're just too young. I mean, they have 4 freshmen on the team. 3 freshmen play 20 minutes or more for them, which means their freshmen are important, very important to this squad. And I think this is what you have. You have a bunch of talented freshmen, and as freshmen does, they make mistakes. They're inconsistent, and when you count on so many freshmen to be that, to hold the team down, this team has no seniors. So I think this is what you're seeing. You're seeing North Carolina at times look like they can play just as well and beat anybody, and then they have times like this where they dropping games to teams that they should not drop to. They're just inconsistent. Could they make it to the top 8 in the Hoop Stereo? Absolutely. Could they get knocked out in the first round as well? Absolutely. Like, this one of those teams. They could beat anybody. They could also lose to anybody. They have talented freshmen who are inconsistent right now, but the future is bright for them. It's just I couldn't bet the house money on them right now, just because I don't know which North Carolina team I'm going to get, and that's just where I stand with them right now.
Well, I love the point that this team is so full of freshmen, because I think it is something that's ever so slightly overlooked. And to tangent away from it a second, I think it's a great part of why SimWorld U is going to the 2-year requirement in collaboration with SWBA, that players have to stay for 2 seasons, because freshmen walking out the door are not necessarily exceptionally polished, and a senior in college is often as good, if not better, than a freshman in college. I mean, that shouldn't be breaking news to anybody. It's why we see seniors do so well at the collegiate level and maybe fizzle out once they get to the SWBA or just become a rotation player, because they're older and they should be better than an 18-year-old in this moment. And I think that's a huge part of, and I love that call out, that this North Carolina team, the only upperclassmen, and upperclassmen I mean junior or above, that there's 2 of them that are getting serious minutes. It's junior Julian Marks and it's junior Bam Wallace. That's it. And Julian Marks has been good. good potential three-point shooter at the next level, is 35% from deep, can score the ball, good rebounder, and of course Bam Wallace, who I think is one of the best forwards in the class because of his ability to also shoot the ball so well from deep. You got Kasim Porter, who's good. You've got Sean Hyman, who's good. You've got Kamarian Bracken, who's a sophomore. Those guys are good, but they're raw and they're undeveloped.
Yeah.
And I think this season, the success that North Carolina has had, because 16-10 now is still a successful season for North Carolina, and they've racked up quite a few big wins. I think this positions this group exceptionally well for next year. To your point, this is a group I would be targeting as saying, hey, right now they're ranked 12, so that'd be about a 4 seed. I would expect them to end up as maybe a 5 or 6 seed. Maybe they could get back up to 4 depending on how it goes, but they're probably a 5 or 6 seed in Hoopsteria. And if that's the case, in Hoopsteria, I think this is a team that could certainly get bounced and upset in the first round.
Yeah, I mean they're just that up and down as a squad, and like I said, they can get upset first round. They can also make the Final Four.
Well,
Like they can go on that kind of run. The team is that talented, but that's the way. That's how much the pendulum swing from one game to the next with a bunch of young guys. But listen, like you said, come next season, and plus they're going to have another freshman class. I'm sure it's going to be pretty good coming in. The sky is the limit for this North Carolina team. If you're in their division, you need to be keenly aware of how good these guys really are and how good they're going to be.
yes, I'm just trying to see who their recruits are for next season. Their commitments here, and my little note. Here we go. So number 3, obviously I should remember this one. Number 3 ranked recruit Marco Jacobs, and number 58th ranked recruit Trevon Patrick. So your backcourt next season is likely going to be Kasim Porter Jr. and Marco Jacobs. I mean, you want to talk about a two-way front or backcourt with exceptional scoring ability. This group is that. That is going to be an exciting duo to watch. Small, 6'4", 6'2", but good to watch. All right, let's get to the Pac-12. You had a little bit of a conversation yesterday on your channel about the Pac-12, and heck, last night delivered on the packing of it, right? Cal falls to Utah at home, or on the road 68-67, and UCLA survives a huge Brian Knight game, 23-15 from the Buffalo's big man, to win that one. UCLA now moves back into sole possession of first place. Utah draws even with Cal for number 2. In Rick, I think has been the most exciting conference race to watch. I didn't think it was going to be that way, but it's the one I've been tuning into the most often.
Yeah, I mean it's been the deepest as far as teams having the position to actually climb up and down the ratings almost on a weekly basis.
No, not almost.
And I said on a weekly basis,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
and I've said it, yesterday. I feel like UCLA has to win out. Like they have to win out, and they won last night. And I knew Utah and Cal and Arizona up until they lost was on their heels, and that's just what it is. Arizona went from 4th place on, could have possibly been in 3rd, maybe 2nd, to now they're in 5th in one game.
Yep.
That's the slide. We're doing a Tootsie slide in the Pac-12 every single time you win or lose. Again, I stand by what I said. UCLA has to win out. Now you see Utah is really, really, really on their heels. Only one game behind the loss column from taking and tying that first place. Cal as well. USC has popped. Hello, USC. Welcome to the party. They are now in the frame in position to do some things too. The Pac-12 is going to be a dogfight, and it's going to be a race to the finish to the very last game. The best part is a lot of these teams still have to play each other to get to that position. It's going to be the best man win. It's going to be the fight to the finish for sure in the Pac-12.
It sure is. So you got UCLA going up against Utah. UCLA won that one is next week. UCLA won the first matchup, so Utah needs a win to draw even.
That has to be game of the week next week, right?
Well, don't forget Alabama plays Arkansas next week, so there's probably 7 games of the week that we could talk about. But Utah, then that second tiebreaker becomes head-to-head record. If Utah wins, their head-to-head record is now tied 17-11. So that game has massive implications. The schedule doesn't get any different for Utah or for UCLA. They have Arizona the last week of the season, so there's a chance even for Arizona to still be alive. I mean, we could probably spend 20 minutes just talking about all the various iterations of this. USC is in the hunt for it. They've got Colorado this week and then Utah the following. So the Pac-12, this is a huge opportunity. UCLA gets this when they wrap it up, right? So if I'm looking at this, I'm actually really interested in the two teams that walk out or walk into the conference championship game in the Pac 12 because all of their games from pretty much mid March are going to be playoff games, right? It's going to
Yeah.
be win implications. Now, it's not win and go home or lose and go home, but they are going to be battle tested in ways that not every other conference leader is going to be positioned. You're going to be either walking in with momentum or limping into hoopsteria. Now, yes, we can look around and the ACC is congested at the top. There's teams battling behind Memphis. You know, the Big Ten has a number of teams in contention. I get that. But to me, the way the schedule stacks up for UCLA, Utah, Cal, USC, Arizona, Colorado, the teams that are mathematically still in it, all of that is postseason basketball. And I think we're going to see a team that's battle tested getting to hoopsteria coming out of the Pac-12.
Yeah, I think you'll get a better. I think the teams coming out of the Pac-12 hoop series are going to be better served in the tournament as a result because they're going to be very battle tested. They would have already started their playoffs. They started playoffs
Yeah.
since mid March. They've been playing playoff basketball since mid March. So come hoops area, they're gonna be ready to go. Am I saying a Pac-12 team is going to win the whole thing? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying the Pac-12 representatives are going to be tough outs because they've been playing playoff basketball for quite some time already.
They will indeed. Well, that is our show. Reminder, we got the game of the week coming up tonight at 8:30. Kentucky visits Alabama with a huge
Not too love.
postseason basketball in SEC play. Kentucky gets the win and essentially locks up the number one spot in the SEC. Alabama needing a win, although their matchup next week with Arkansas, massive implications as the Razorbacks are on the Tide's heels. That, of course, is at 8:30. That comes after Maryland trying to right the ship in the Big 12, or in the Big 10 rather, on a two-game losing streak as they go up against Indiana, who has also struggled in conference play. That one is at 7, and that one features two potential lottery picks, Cooper Kingy Cross and Mackenzie Mbako for the Hoosiers. Rick, pleasure having you on, as always. We will talk to you again next week here on SimWorld TV. We'll talk to you all tomorrow morning on Friday on SimWorld
Yes,
TV as
sir.
well. The only place you can see the game, be the game.